It's not just an echo chamber anymore. Yesterday, conspiracy theorists, the alt-right, the far-right, QAnon followers and others stormed Capitol Hill and live-streamed it.
Unleash the Kraken! Let's go! Has the Kraken been unleashed?
Yeah, I think so.
So, who are they and how do they process what's happening in the world?
Hello, U.S. Senate. Yes, we have a fraudulent election. I would like to report.
The man live-streaming this, for example, is called Tim Giannet. He's a white nationalist activist, better known as Baked Alaska. He was streaming everything yesterday on the blockchain service DLive. His YouTube channel was banned in October. Then there's Jake Angeli, who became globally famous for a time yesterday, a well-known QAnon follower who believes Trump is taking a stand against a secret society of Satanist pedophiles.
This is like a global takeover. They're trying to create a new world order, right?
The woman who was tragically shot and killed by security inside Capitol Hill yesterday was Ashley Babbitt, a Trump supporter and Air Force veteran from California. Her postings include questioning media reporting around immigration.
In the media, they are trying to perpetuate this migrant caravan filled with women and children.
A number of things unite these people and their disparate set of world views. First up, Donald Trump and his social media presence. He told them to come yesterday. He's been proclaiming January the 6th online as a day of reckoning for weeks now. On the 19th of December, tweeted, "Big protest in DC on January the 6th. Be there, will be wild." A few weeks later, he repeated this message again in capitals. And again on January the 1st with the hashtag #StopTheSteal.
Some states rushed out mail-in ballots.
This, of course, comes after weeks of trying to undermine the election on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. And today, big tech took fright. Facebook and Instagram banned Trump, at least until he leaves office. Twitter banned him for 12 hours and counting. How significant was yesterday as far as the tech companies are concerned?
Yesterday was really a breaking point where they saw that these democratic institutions that they were trying to protect through freedom of expression were actually being destroyed right in front of their eyes on their platforms for the whole world to see.
What happened yesterday on Capitol Hill wasn't just about social media, of course. There's a whole TV and radio ecosystem reinforcing a sense of being aggrieved, telling you again and again about the institutions out to get you.
They're actually united together online and they talk obsessively nonstop about the election being stolen from Trump and democracy being imperiled as a result. And in believing that and having the president talk back to them and say, you know, this is reality, they felt as if they were serving their country.
In truth, what happened on Capitol Hill yesterday resembled more a mindset, a cult even, where context is lost and only you really know what's going on.
Joining me now is Timothy Snyder. He's Professor of History at Yale University, who's argued consistently that the way President Trump has behaved throughout his term has been heading towards tyranny. You were warning this would happen, and it has. If Joe Biden is right in calling these people domestic terrorists, how have they been radicalized?
Well, I think the big story here is that what was once online is now in the real world. And this is a result of a couple of things happening at the same time. Local news, which used to be the way that Americans grounded themselves in the realities around them, is essentially dead. Geographically, most of the territory of the United States, the majority of the counties of the United States is now a news desert. People don't have access to actually reported news. Meanwhile, social media has arisen, and social media functions according to algorithms which give people what they want or what they feel they want, so that the difference between what's happening in the world and what we feel is happening in the world is evaded. Mr. Trump arises from all of this, understands all of this, and takes advantage of all of this. And of course, has a very strong personal reason for telling what I take to be his first really big lie. I mean, he's a man who lies continuously, and he's told some medium-sized lies. But the lie that he won the election is a big one, big enough that it had to lead to an us or them, a commitment or a denial, and big enough that it had to lead in the end to violence, which it has.
So what happens now with him?
I think, I don't want to dodge that, but I want to say that that's not the most important question. I think the most important question is not what happens with him, but what happens with the lie. What we saw yesterday was that a number of American senators, 8, a number of American congressmen and women, more than 100, were willing to vote for the big lie, even though they know Trump won't be president. And even though their own place of work and the American Monument to Democracy, the Capitol building, had just been invaded by people who believed in the lie. What this says to me is that the question in the American far right in the Senate is who takes this big lie and runs with it. Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, senators, are competing in effect to see who can carry the torch of this lie for the next 4 years. As for Mr. Trump, I mean, my own suspicion is that he won't be in the country for very long.
So is fascism now a force in American politics for the next 4 years?
Yes, obviously so. Look, the people who stormed the Capitol building were fascists. When we use the word fascist, people immediately start talking about comparisons and analogies and whatnot. You don't need comparisons or analogies. The far right white supremacists who organized the storming of the Capitol building are themselves fascists without qualification. Point number 1. Point number 2, this is being organized on behalf of a big lie, which is very characteristic of fascism. Point number 3, it's being organized in order to do away with democratic elections, also fascist, right? And point number 4, and this is a little more subtle, but very important, this has everything to do with race from top to bottom. The lie that Trump won the election is based upon the claim or the equivalence of black voting with fraud. When they say fraud, what they mean is people of color voting, right? When Ted Cruz invokes, I know this is obscure to the British, but when Ted Cruz invokes the 1877 Compromise as a positive model and as a model for what Congress should be doing now, the 1877 Compromise was the creation of apartheid in the American South. That's what the 1877 Compromise is. And of course, the people who are doing the actual storming are in large measure white racists. So this is all about race, and in that sense, I think it's very fair to speak for American fascism.
Thank you very much indeed. Sorry to cut you off, but thank you for joining us.